Hello everyone and welcome to another What's for Dinner on WW. In this video, I'm going to be showing you what we had for dinner this week on WW, as well as giving you my personal points for all of these meals. As usual though, if you check down in the description box, you're either going to find a link to one of these recipes videos if I have done a previous video on it before, and in that video's description box you will find ingredients, instructions, and links to my recipe builder where you can see what the points are for you. If I haven't done a previous video on one of these or it's a new one, I will have all of that information down in the description box as well. So be sure to check down there for all the information you're going to want. But let's jump in and see what we had for dinner this week. First up is a new recipe for us, and that is for this pesto pasta with spinach and tomatoes. Now this was sent in to me by one of my sweet viewers. She sent me several recipes before actually. I've done videos on a couple others of hers. I will link up above and down below if you want to check those out because those were really good too, just like this one. But this one I have had for quite a while and I'm just finally getting around to trying it. But now that I have tried it, I will definitely be making it in the future because not only is it really easy, but it is really tasty. Now I'm going to be following her recipe pretty closely. I do make a couple changes to it, and one of the main ones is I'm going to be using my own homemade pesto sauce instead of jarred, but I am sticking pretty closely to her recipe. This one starts with getting your pasta cooking. So I've got a pot of boiling water here that I'm going to add my wheat pasta in and just cook that until it's al dente. And then over here in a frying pan, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, let that heat up, and then I'm going to add in some minced garlic. Now I think this is a change to her recipe as well. I added garlic. I love my garlic, so I definitely wanted to have a little bit of that in there. Once my garlic has cooked for about a minute or so, I'm going to add in some fresh chopped up Roma tomatoes. Now I think I didn't use as many as she would. I'm doubling this recipe that she gave me, and I think for just one it would be a cup of tomatoes, and I'm probably only using a cup for the recipe doubled. But anyway, I'm then going to add a little bit of fresh ground pepper to this, and then I'm going to just let my tomatoes kind of cook in here for just a couple minutes. I want to give them a little bit of a head start so they can break down a little bit before I add in my spinach, which cooks really quickly. Once my tomatoes have had a chance to kind of cook in there and break down a little bit, I'm going to add in my fresh spinach. I'm putting in probably at least 4 cups, maybe a little bit more, but I'm going to add that in. I'm going to just let that kind of cook in there until it starts to wilt down. Once that spinach has cooked down, I'm going to add in some chopped boneless, skinless chicken breast. I just baked that in my oven. And then I'm going to add in my cooked pasta as well as some of my homemade pesto. Here it is right here. Like I said, this is so easy to make that I just prefer to make it over buying it in a jar. But you can definitely use jarred pesto, and that's going to be even easier. I just have been meaning to make this pesto anyway, so got that in there. I'm going to throw some noodles around, but I'm going to just mix this all together, and then that is all there is to this. Very, very simple. It comes together in just a few minutes, but it is very good. Okay, and here is a serving of that. I measured it out, and I got just about 8 cups total. So I'm going to call a serving 2 cups. So you're going to get 4 2-cup servings out of this roughly. And I also topped it with a tablespoon of Part-skim mozzarella cheese. And so total for me, this is only 3 points, which is super low really, because that's 2 cups. That's a really good sized portion. And I already gave it a little taste, and it's very good. So 3 points for that I think is really, really good, especially for how good it tastes. So see if I can get my hubby to give this a try and let us know what he thinks. I really, really like it, so I'm curious what he's going to think about it. Okay, got the hubby and the dog. Give that a taste and see what you think.
Yeah, that's really good. It's got really kind of light, bright flavors. I can taste the pesto, right? That's what it's called.
Pesto, yeah.
And kind of that nutty flavor from it. And then the spinach outside of the pesto adds a nice layer. The tomatoes are light, have kind of almost a sweet, adds a sweet element to it.
No, I didn't put as much tomatoes in that. I probably put maybe half the amount, just because you're not a big fresh tomato fan. But I also cooked them down quite a bit, so they probably taste okay.
Yeah. No, chicken's a chicken. Cheese is always good. You know what that's really screaming for, though?
What?
Some sort of mushroom.
Oh, mushrooms?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That sounds good.
All right.
Okay. So you like it?
That's really good.
Okay. Well, thank you to Julia for sending us this. It took me forever to finally try it out, but yeah, I really like it too, and I love how easy it is.
It's like a restaurant. You buy that at a restaurant.
Yeah, it does kind of remind me of something you get at a restaurant too. But yeah, very good, very easy. And yeah, thanks again for sending that to us. We'll definitely be making this in the future. Oh, and I did want to say, if any of you guys have recipes that you really like and would like to send me, I would love getting those. I love trying out new recipes like this. Also, if you have anything that you would like me to try to make lighter, more Weight Watcher friendly, I also like doing that. So definitely send me any recipes you'd like me to try or try to lighten up. You can either email me or DM me on Instagram, and I'll have both of those ways of contacting me down in the description box. Next up is white chicken enchiladas. Now, I have shown these before in a video at least a couple different times. My family really likes these, and they're also very kid friendly. So I like making these not only because they are good, but they're very easy. So definitely one that is in my meal rotation. This one starts with a large bowl, and in it I'm going to add in some fat-free Greek yogurt. You could also use fat-free sour cream. Then I'm going to add in a can of cream of chicken soup. That's the 98% fat-free stuff. A little bit of milk, a can of diced chilies, some dried minced onions, a little bit of granulated garlic, and some freshly cracked black pepper. Then I'm going to just mix all of that together really well until it looks like that. And then in a 13 by 9 inch casserole dish, I'm going to spray it with a little bit of cooking spray. And then I'm going to put down a layer of these white corn tortillas. This is the Pueblo Lindo brand. I really like, and I get these at Aldi. Next up, I'm going to add some boneless, skinless chopped chicken breast to the top of the tortillas. And then I'm going to take half of my sauce mixture. I'm going to pour that on top of the chicken, and I'm going to spread that out as evenly as I can. Next up is some reduced fat Mexican style blend cheese. I'm going to be using half of that bag actually. So I'm going to add half of it, and then I'm going to just repeat the steps with the tortillas, the remaining chicken, remaining sauce, and remaining cheese. And then I'm going to bake this at 350 for about 30 minutes or so, or until it is nice and melted like this. And here is dinner tonight. I've got 1/6 of that total casserole, and for me, that is 8 points. Along with it, we're just having a little bit of steamed broccoli. I would have this time input a little bit of lemon juice on my broccoli. I've had a couple of you guys tell me to try that, and I finally did, and it's actually pretty good. Nice little 0-point way to kind of spice up your broccoli a little bit. So 0 points for the broccoli, and 8 points for the white chicken enchiladas is going to make my dinner total for tonight 8 points. Next up is Doritos taco salad. This one is very reminiscent of my childhood. My mom made a version of this when I was growing up, and I just really, really like it. This is just a lightened up version of that. Now that being said, several of you, when I did the video on this, told me about the Quest chips that were lower in points than Doritos. I have not been able to locate those anywhere. So if you guys can let me know where you find those, I would appreciate it because it would lower the points. This one starts with getting your taco meat cooking. And so in a large pan here, I've just added a pound of lean ground turkey, and I'm gonna just get that browning. Now, I always like to point out, I use a 93% lean. If you use a 99, it's gonna be 0 points, but I just buy this in bulk. Once my meat is brown, I'm gonna add in some water and some taco seasoning, as well as a can of Rotel and a can of black beans that I've drained and rinsed. And then I'm gonna just stir all of that together really well and let it continue to cook for another couple of minutes. And then at that point, I'm gonna take it off the heat and set it aside to cool down just a little bit. Then in a large bowl, I'm gonna add in some lettuce. I've got a classic garden mix here, 12 ounces. And then I've also got some just hearts of romaine, 10 ounces. And I'm gonna be using all of this. I'll add the rest of the romaine in after I get this knocked down a little bit. So there I'm adding some zesty Italian fat-free dressing, some red onions and some green onions, a little bit of cilantro, some Mexican style cheese, that's 40% less fat. And then at this point, I'm gonna just kind of toss that all together to get it mixed up and to also get that lettuce kind of knocked down a little bit so I can add in the remaining lettuce. Here I am adding in that remaining lettuce, and then I just get that mixed in there too. I like to get as much lettuce in this as I can just to make the servings a little bit bigger, but you don't have to use this much if you don't want to. So next up, I'm gonna add in my meat mixture that I've let cool down, not completely, but slightly. And then I'm gonna just mix that all in really well. And that is all there is to this. There's my hubby doing a little quality testing. All right, so here I've got a serving of that, which is a cup. And I do this a little differently now. I just add my Doritos to the individual servings. Actually, I think I showed doing that in the video that I did on this as well. But I just add the Doritos to the individual servings because otherwise they're gonna get soggy in there if you just mix them all in. Unless you're gonna be eating this all at one time, which this makes 14 1-cup servings, so we definitely don't eat it all at one time. I'm just adding 2 points worth of Doritos to mine, so I'm gonna just crunch those up, add them to the top, and then I'm gonna add some fat-free Greek yogurt, a little bit of cilantro, and some tomatoes. And that is Dorito taco salad. Now, like I said, this is a cup worth, and for me, that's 3 points. The Doritos, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 Doritos, is 2 points. Again, I would love to find the Quest chips to find a lower point option for chips to do this with, but 2 points for the chips, nothing for the toppings, which is gonna make dinner total for tonight 5 points. And that was everything we had for dinner this week on WW. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.